Maruye the 17 Global Education 2019ကနေပြီးတော့17 Educational Consultancy နဲ့စခဲ့တာပေါ့နော်။အဲ့ရနေမှာ2020မှာစင်ကာပူရဲ့တရားဝင် register ကုမ္ပဏီနဲ့တည်ထောင်ပြီးတော့ကျောင်းသူကျောင်းသားမြန်မာပြည်မှာရှိတဲ့ကျောင်းသားကျောင်းသူတွေစင်ကာပူမှာရောက်နေတဲ့ကျောင်းသားကျောင်းသူတွေကိုအမားတို့ကပတ်ဝေးတွေရွေးပေးတယ်။ပြီးတော့ဒီကျောင်းလျှောက်ပေးတာစပြီးတော့ student pass လျှောက်ပေးတာတွေရောအကုန်လုံးအမားတို့ကကူညီပေးတာပေါ့နော်။ဒါကတော့အမားတို့ရဲ့ one stop free service ပေါ့နော်အဓိကကတော့ကျောင်းသားကျောင်းသူတွေကိုအမားတို့ကတယောက်နဲ့တယောက်ကနောက်ခံ background မတူဘူးပေါ့နော်ဝါသနာရဲ့စိတ်ပါဝင်စားမှုတွေမတူတော့အမားတို့ကအဲ့ဒီပုံမှာမူတည်ပြီးတော့ဒါမှန်ကန်တဲ့လမ်းကြောင်းကိုရွေးချယ်ပေးတယ်ပြီးတော့အမားတို့ကနေပြီးတော့ဒီတဦးတယောက်ချင်းစီအဆင်ပြေဖို့အတွက်ကို Viber တွေ WhatsApp တွေ Messenger ကနေတဆင့်လဲအကြံပေးပြီးတယ်ဒါမှမဟုတ်ရင်လည်း Zoom link ညနေတဆင့်ပေါ့နော်အမားတို့က consult လုပ်ပေးတယ်ဒီကျောင်းစလျှောက်တာကနေစပြီးတော့ပေါ့နော်အမားတို့က student visa ရတဲ့အထိရောဒီကျောင်းတက်နေစဉ်တစ်လျှောက်လုံးမှာလိုအပ်ရင်လိုအပ်တယ်လို့အမားတို့အကူအညီပေးတယ်ပေါ့နော်နောက်တစ်ခုကကြတော့စင်ကာပူမှာကျောင်းတက်နေရင်းနဲ့ပဲနောက်တစ်နိုင်ငံထပ်ကူးကျင်တာပဲဖြစ်ဖြစ်အမားတို့ကဆက်လက်ပြီးတော့လေဆောင်ရွက်ပေးတယ်ဒီအတွက်လည်းအမားတို့ကဘာဝင်ဆောင်ခါမှလည်းမယူဘူးပေါ့နော်ကျောင်းသားတွေစီကဘာကြောင့်လဲဆိုတော့အမားတို့ကကျောင်းကြီးအားလုံးရဲ့ official partner ဖြစ်တဲ့အတွက်ကြောင့်ပေါ့နော်ဒါကတော့အမရဲ့ contact နောက်တစ်ခုဒီဘက်ဘေးမှာအမ QR code ကလေးနဲ့လုပ်ထားတာကဒီလာမယ့် July intake ပေါ့နော် intake မှာ Kaplan မှာတက်မဲ့ကျောင်းသားကျောင်းသူတွေကိုအမက group တစ်ခုထဲမှာစုပေးထားတာပေါ့နော်ဆိုတော့ screenshot လေးရိုက်ထားလို့ရတယ်တကယ်လို့တက်ဖြစ်တယ် confirm ဖြစ်တယ်ဆိုလို့ရှိရင်တော့ဒီ group လေးကို join ပေးပါနောက်ဒီလာမယ့်တောက်ကြနေ့မှာလည်းconfirm ဖြစ်တဲ့ကျောင်းသားတွေကိုအမကဒီ briefing ပေါ့နော် briefing သဘောမျိုးနဲ့ဘာတွေလိုအပ်တယ်ဘာတွေကိုကြိုပြီးတော့ဆောင်ထားရမယ်ကိုကစင်ကာပူမှာတက်မယ်ဆိုလို့ရှိရင် ACC ပါဝင်းနဲ့သွားမယ်ဆိုရင်ပြီးရင်ဘယ်လမ်းကြောင်းတွေဆက်ပြီးတော့သွားလို့ရလဲဆိုတော့အမကအသေးစိတ်ဆွေးနွေးပေးမှာဖြစ်တဲ့အတွက်ကြောင့်ဒီ Zoom link ကနေပဲဒီအချိန်မှာပဲဒီတောက်ကြနေ့မှာ join လို့ရတယ်ဆိုတော့အမအချိန်အကြာကြီးလဲမယူတော့ဘူးဒီ Kaplan ကတာဝန်ရှိတဲ့သူတွေကိုလည်းအမလွှဲပေးလိုက်မယ်နော်ဆိုတော့Miss Laura, could you please introduce yourself?
Sure. So can I start with my presentation already?
Sure.
Let me just share my screen. Okay. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Laurel Cole from Kaplan Financial Singapore. So allow me to share more information with you about Kaplan as well as our ACCA program structure. So in Kaplan, we have more than 450 programs and certifications available for students. And to date, we have more than 100,000 diploma and degree graduates. Our students come from over 35 countries, and 95% of our graduates actually recommend Kaplan to be the preferred institute of choice. Next, I'll talk a little bit about our ACCA course structure. So ACCA has 3 levels: applied knowledge, applied skills, and strategic professional level. In total, there are 13 papers to complete, unless you have exemptions. So as you can see from here, we sell our modules on a modular basis. So these are the fees reflected. Now, you don't have to take any screenshot. Later on, I can give the slide deck to Sarah. She can share with all of you. Okay, so if you're enrolled in Kaplan, we will issue you a student contract that will list down all the modules that you're required to complete. If you got exemptions, it will just only list down the balance modules that you're required to take. The good thing about this course is that you need not pay 13 papers at one go. The fees will be very high. So right now is that we have installment plan for all students. The installment plan is within a 6-month period. So each installment plan just only to pay 3 modules only. So for example, if you start off with these 3 levels, you just pay only these 3 fees. This is on the course fees. Now, we do have an early bird discount right now. So our early bird discount is 10% off the entire course fees in your student contract. But you must enroll by 29th of June. So do note of the timeline. Besides course fees, we also have non-tuition fees that's required. So first and foremost, we have the new international student application fee. This fee allows us to help you to apply for student pass. Next, there is a new international student admin fee. Thirdly, we have a fee protection scheme for all students. This fee protection scheme actually protects your course fees while studying in Kaplan. So for example, touch wood, if Kaplan closes down or not able to continue this program, your balance course fees are protected. And the better thing is that the insurance fee is absorbed by Kaplan, so you need not pay for the insurance fee. We also have medical insurance fee. First year is absorbed by Kaplan, but second year onwards, you need to pay $45.85. And of course, if you're a continuing student with us on a yearly basis, we will need you to pay existing international student admin fee of only $109. So these are all the non-tuition fees. Now, for us to help you to apply for Student Pass, there are self-supporting documents required. So firstly, I'll need you to complete the International Student Application Form and attach your passport size photograph. Besides this, I also need copies of your passport and your birth certificate. Do note that your birth certificate, if the original version is not in English, you need to get it translated into the English version. I also need copies of your education cert and transcript, as well as your ACC exam transcripts if you have taken ACC exam previously. If you are married, I'll need a copy of your marriage certificate. If previously you are working, I'll need the past employment letters and testimonials if you have. If your parents are employed, I also need your parents' employment letter and the latest payslip. Now, if yourself and your parents are self-employed, I'll need you all to do a self-declaration. Now, lastly, the study plan. This is important for us to help you to apply your Student Pass. This study plan will actually need to indicate what are your goals, what do you hope to achieve from this course that you're enrolled in Kaplan, as well as how this course will benefit you in terms of your personal development, as well as your future career. Now, some important rules for Student Pass holder to note. A valid Student Pass is required to study in Singapore. And you're only allowed to study in Singapore at Kaplan, not a full-time student at other schools. Consumption of drugs or participate in political activities are not allowed. Female Student Pass holders are not allowed to become pregnant while studying in Kaplan. You must always abide by the Singapore law and do not engage in any illegal activities. Overstaying in Singapore is considered a serious offense. And while studying in Kaplan, try to meet minimum monthly attendance rate of 90%. And most importantly, do not engage in any form of employment, full-time or part-time, while holding a Student Pass in Singapore. Students are required to attend classes regularly as per ICA's requirements. This means that Monday to Friday, between 9 AM to 6 PM, you need to clock 3 hours a day in our campus. If you don't have any classes scheduled, you need to do self-study in our campus. Now, be mindful, any student found breaching any of the points above will have the Student Pass cancelled and will have to leave Singapore within 24 hours. Now, I have 2 colleagues in my team who will assist you in your learning journey. First, I have Ms. Tan Jia-Yet. She's your main point of contact. In the event that if Tan is not available, you can contact my next colleague, Tan Jian-Hui. Both of them will be more than happy to assist you in terms of enrollment inquiries and education inquiries. So with this, I end my presentation, and I hope that you choose Kaplan as your preferred institute of choice. Thank you, Sarah, and I'll hand it over to Gavin.
Thank you for sharing, Laura.
Thank you very much, L'Oreal. Hi, everyone. Mingla Ba. It's good to see everyone in this call. I hope everyone's doing well. Okay, let me share my screen. Okay, so how many of you have heard about ACCA? Okay, now ACCA is essentially an accounting professional qualification, all right? So let me go through what I'll be sharing with you today and what I'll be discussing with you today. Okay, so today what we will look at is what is the role of an accountant, okay? We'll answer a very important question that a lot of modern accountants are asking. Is AI going to take over the role of an accountant? All right, and we'll look into what sustainability and accounting has to do with and how ACCA will help you to be an accountant that's ready for the future. Okay, so what is the role of an accountant? Long time ago, a lot of people look at an accountant as a very boring job. You know, it's about people doing debit and credit, and people doing it's all dealing with numbers. So something that can be really boring, right? But accounting has moved a lot from then. Okay, so I have on this slide, I have 5 ACCA members. Okay, one is a managing partner at an audit firm. Okay, one is a director at PricewaterhouseCoopers in Singapore. Okay, and the other, William Tan, he's actually in a construction. He's in the construction business. Okay, Subramaniam, he's in public transport. And James is a university lecturer. Okay, why do I show this picture to you? Okay, what I'm trying to show to you is that being an accountant is not just one-dimensional. There are a lot of different job opportunities that you can be. Okay, you can work in construction, you can work in public transport. Every organization needs an accountant. All right. And it is this need for accountancy that makes accountants such in demand at the moment. Okay. Now, accountants are also very important because they help businesses and individuals make decisions. Okay. So all the big companies that you see, their accounting team is not there to make sure that they pass their audit. Okay. Their accounting team is not there to make sure that they have enough money, but is to make sure that the company makes the right investment decisions. Okay, so here are a list of 10 roles accountants play. Okay, but overall, an accountant is a very important part of any organization to ensure that a company is stable and a company can grow. So if it's your own family business or if you're working for a large corporation, accountants make very important decisions because they help the company become profitable and allow the companies to do well. All right. And accountants are in demand. Yeah, I'm not saying this because I'm from ACCA. I'm saying this because everybody says so. Every country, every industry is looking for accountants, right? So I've taken 4 screenshots of news articles from Singapore, from Australia, from the UK, and from the US. Okay, many countries or many companies are trying to find accountants to fill the shortage that they have. Okay. But many people will ask me, like, if accounting is such in demand, why is nobody studying accounting? And that is a very good question. So the answer to why people don't study accounting is because there is a misconception. People think that if I were to do accounting, okay, when AI comes along, the accounting job will be useless. There's no point being an accountant because AI will take over the role. Okay, so the question then is, will AI take over the role of an accountant? Okay, and the answer to that is yes and no. Okay, what do I mean by yes? Okay, now if you look at accounting in its from few years ago, okay, accounting was very important because it dealt with payroll, it dealt with a lot of different aspects within an organization. All right, and there are a lot of new software that has come out that have made accounting a lot easier. Okay, so when you look at debit and credit, if you key it into a system, it's automatic, right? When you do an invoice or after you take in the money, it's automatically debit and credited. All right. All these accounting software is so easy to use, okay, that you don't really need an accountant to go and do all these basic accounting things. Okay. So in that sense, you don't need to be they don't need accountants to do this. Okay. But what they need accountants to do, right, are the high level jobs. Okay. And so why this is important is because an AI can never take over the role of an accountant because of these 4 areas. Okay. Complex decision making and strategic planning, compliance and regulations, client relations, and ethical considerations. Okay, so what do I mean by that? Right? If I were to look at complex decision making and strategic planning, an AI can tell you how much money you have left. AI can tell you what can be best used for it. Okay, but it does not know the organization well enough to make a decision that will help the whole company. Right? So if I want to invest in a certain area or in a certain product, should I do it or not? I need to know how my market conditions are. I need to know how much money I will get in return. I need to know whether it's easy to do it. What is the cost? Okay, those kind of decisions and planning is not something AI can do. Okay, now in terms of compliance and regulation, okay, AI, you can download all the compliance and regulatory matters into an AI system, and they can find for you and recommend which compliance factor you are following and what you are not following. Okay, but AI is a yes or no. It's a 1 or a 0. What happens if it's gray? It's a gray area. How AI cannot determine whether something is right or wrong if it's something gray. Okay, gray does not mean wrong. Gray does not mean right. Right? It's just a matter of how you explain it. So compliance and regulation is something AI cannot help you do. Right? It cannot help you manage client relations. Okay, you can talk to AI. You go on ChatGPT, you can have a talk with it. You put a candle in front of your computer, you can have a date with it, but you can never build a proper relationship with the AI software. And as an accountant with the rest of the team, you cannot build that relationship. Okay. Now, ethical and moral considerations are the last factor, right? What is ethical? What is moral? AI cannot decide, right? Should you build a mining facility in the middle of a forest? Okay. The AI will tell you yes, because I spend this much money to cut down all the trees. I dig it up, I make a lot more money. So from an AI's perspective, yes, it's a good decision. Okay. But when it comes to the environment, when it comes to ethics, people look at you, differently, and they don't like the idea of destroying the forest. So from a sustainability standpoint, it's a no. So AI can tell you right or wrong, but for things that are maybe, okay, AI cannot help you make that decision. So why this is important is because in accounting, right, it's not always straightforward. It's not always yes or no. There's a lot of things to think about. There's a lot of things to consider, all right? And because of that, okay, AI can help the accountant make the decision, can help the accountant give the accountant as much information as they need, but they can never replace the accountant in making the decision. Okay, that's why accounting is important, right? Now, the next big area of accounting is sustainability. Okay, now a lot of people ask me, how is sustainability related to accounting? Right? If I were to look at the UN sustainability goals, okay, no poverty, no hunger, good health, quality education, gender equality, none of this is part of ACCA or be part of being an accountant. Okay, it focuses on science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. So how do accountants fit into any of these 17 goals? Okay, and that is a very good question. And how accountants fit in is because accountants make companies accountable. All right, it's very easy to say, oh, you know what? My product is the greenest product in the world. Okay, I can do all this, and it's a very green. Okay, but a marketing person will tell you everything good about the product. Okay, but what's actually happening and how do you hold companies accountable is the role of an accounting. Okay, so things like environmental accounting, social accounting, governance, right? Integrated reporting are all part of an accountant's future forward job, right? It is an accountant's job to help companies be accountable for for reaching sustainability goals. Okay, it is an accountant's job to help the company be responsible. Okay, now of course there will be accountants who will cheat the system. They're not ACCA, but it is really the job of an accountant to make it happen. Okay, and so in all the 15 or 17 SDG goals, okay, sustainability goals, accountants play an important role in making sure that that happens. Okay, in making sure that charities, for example, are taking the money and using it correctly. Okay, now how this is important. Okay, I've got a short video here, and this video will show you a bit about how accountants are changing the world.
The challenge we have is the pace of change and the degree of adoption of change.
What is the implication on ethics? What is the implication on business?
We can't just continue to operate as we've done for the past 20 years.
If we don't change now, then it's too late.
ACCA has led the world in opening up opportunities to professional life, but we never rest on our laurels, and there is more to do.
The issues that we see playing out around the world is a function of significant increases in inequality. What we need to do is ask policymakers to take a much more longer-term view, particularly in terms of education, healthcare, and infrastructure.
That call to action is so important to all of us, including the accountancy profession.
Accountants are perfectly placed in their position to have that real meaningful impact.
The role of the accountancy profession is evolving.
We're talking now of environmental sustainability and governance as opposed to just analyzing numbers.
We speak up, we hold businesses and the public sector and ourselves to a higher standard.
The accounting profession has really provided the guidance to the innovators.
Everyone is embracing the diversity. The next generation will be attracted by a sense of purpose.
It will become a more aspirational profession for young people as that ethical and trusted advisor.
A better world, to me, is where businesses actually serve the needs of society.
A better world where everyone will embrace accountability to protect the planet, helping businesses to develop in a sustainable way.
So that the decisions that we take as a result serve for the betterment of everybody.
So in a world where everybody is looking to make the world a better place, okay, it's important to find a purpose in accounting, all right? So that's why I called it Accounting 2.0, right? Accounting has and was just about making sure the books balance and there's no cheating and everything runs smoothly. But accounting has changed, okay? And it's a career that is meant to be it's meant to put you in a position where your purpose, the purpose of being an accountant, is not to help the company, not only to help the company become sustainable, but help the company contribute back, making sure that they're doing the right things to hold companies accountable for their role, all right? And that's where the ACCA qualification comes in. As accounting changes, okay, as the world changes, right, the need for accountants is becoming even more. It's becoming more. You know, everybody needs accounting for all the different purposes. So accounting is a profession that's in demand everywhere. Okay. In order to be a good accountant, you need to be future ready. You need to be able to contribute to the company. You need to look at things from a sustainable perspective, from an environmental perspective, and you need to have those skills to do that. Okay, but you also need to think of the world as a globalized world. Okay, no country operates on its own. Every country is interconnected in one way or the other. Okay, and it's because of all these three factors that ACCA through the large network that we have, is a gateway for students to pursue a future in accounting, a career in accounting, which is future ready, okay, and which will help you secure good jobs in the future, okay. Now, but why ACCA, okay, and is ACCA any good, okay? ACCA is 120 years old this year. We have 252,500 members around the world, okay, 526,000 future members, students like yourself, for example, who are embarking on a journey to become an ACCA member, okay. Our members come from 180 different countries, and we have about 7,959 approved employers worldwide, okay. What does all these figures mean for you? Okay, it means that ACCA is relevant anywhere in the world. Getting ACCA qualification in Singapore, okay, with Kaplan, and taking that qualification, studying, working in Singapore for a couple of years, going off to the UK, going off to Zimbabwe, going to different parts of the world, the ACCA qualification can bring you to these places and can help you grow in these countries, okay? Because most countries recognize the ACCA qualification as an international standard for accounting. They know the ACCA students are very well versed in the field of accounting, and they know that they are ready to take on any challenges that the company can throw at them, right? So that's one of the very strong reasons why ACCA is such a powerful qualification, right? Because of its international reach. Okay, as L'Oreal shared just now, the ACCA qualification consists of the applied knowledge, the applied skills, professional papers. Okay, in order to become an ACCA member, you also need to have 3 years of work experience, relevant work experience, as well as complete a unit in ethics and professional skills. Okay, and after you finish all of this, you will get your ACCA membership. Okay, now with the ACCA membership, you can go on to work in companies to do whatever you need. All right, but if you choose, there are also master programs that you can embark on. Like for example, the University of London, University College London Masters of Professional Accounting. It's a 1-year masters that helps students upgrade their qualifications. Okay, and you can use this to enter some MBAs moving forward as well. Okay, but ACCA is not an easy program to study. Okay, I'll be straightforward and tell you it's not going to be the easiest program to study. That is why we are doing this session together with Kaplan, because Kaplan is our platinum approved partner, and they are in the best position to help students, okay, pass the exam papers and to pass the first stage of being an ACCA member, and they are there to help you every step of the way. Okay, so it's very important to remember that you are not alone. You can choose to find support. You are not alone on this journey. Okay, that we have approved learning partners like Kaplan, who's able to give you the best support in order to achieve ACCA membership. Okay, so to end my slides, okay, just want to recap the benefits of the ACCA qualification and the benefits of career in accounting. Okay, the first one is the long-term career prospects. Okay, accounting has been around for 120 years and it will never die. Right, the qualification, the accounting profession just keeps evolving. Okay, next with AI, next with sustainability, the accounting profession will only grow in importance as we move on into the future. Okay, now the opportunity, ACCA essentially is an opportunity to gain a internationally recognized professional qualification. I think that is one of the most important things, because even if you do decide to go back to Myanmar after you finish your studies to do an accounting, ACCA is still recognized there. Okay, if you want to go anywhere else, the ACCA qualification is well regarded throughout Southeast Asia and all around the world, and that will help you if you're working for multinational companies, if you're working in businesses that just need you to do business overseas, all right? It's also got the opportunity to continually acquire new abilities. Now, ACCA members, once you become a member, okay, it doesn't mean everything stops, okay? It's all about lifelong learning. At ACCA, we do offer a whole range of professional development courses that students or that members are encouraged to take, okay, in order to upgrade their skills and stay relevant, okay? Financial rewards. Financial rewards, okay, if you look at it, honestly, if you look at auditing itself, at the start, the salary is not the most attractive, but progressively, okay, as you climb up, as you become more experienced in the accounting field with the professional qualification, the career prospects, the salary prospects really, really increases sharply, okay? And of course, as I mentioned earlier, internationally recognized qualification. Okay, you can move across regions, across countries very easily, okay? In fact, if you want, after you finish your ACCA qualification with Kaplan, okay, you can decide to go back home to Myanmar, or maybe go to somewhere around the region, okay, to continue your journey towards membership. Okay, the 3-year work experience does not have to be done in Singapore. It can be done anywhere in the world. All right. So there's a lot of flexibility. In fact, when the ACCA member moves from one country to the other, okay, they go online, they change their address, they change where they are, and immediately they are signed up for the newsletters that happen in the country. So if, let's say, tomorrow you move to Singapore, you switch your status to Singapore. After 2 years, you move to Australia. You switch your local country of residence to Australia, and immediately you will be invited to networking sessions held by the ACCA in that country. Okay, so if you don't remember anything I said, okay, just remember ACCA has a long-term career prospect, and is an internationally recognized qualification. Okay, with that, I will end my slides. And, if you have any questions, I think we're more than happy to answer any questions you might have.
Hello, May. မေးစရာရှိတာမေးလို့ရတယ်နော်။တကယ်လို့mic ဖွင့်ပြီးတော့မေးရတာအဆင်မပြေရင်လေဒီမှာ type ပြီးတော့လည်းမေးလို့ရတယ်။ They are a bit shy. As you know.
It's okay. It's okay. Yeah.
So,
So,
okay, for the July intake, when is the deadline for application?
Okay,
L'Oreal.
yes. So just like I mentioned, there's an early bird discount. So 29th of June is to enjoy the early bird discount.
29th of June. Okay.
29th of June, correct. Our class for July intake will start the last week of July. So,
okay.
Correct. So try to enroll as early as possible, because student pass application take about 6 weeks to process. So of course, prior to 6 weeks, internally within Kaplan, got to check the documents, go through the internal process. So all in all, I would say about 8 weeks, including internal Kaplan's process. So it's about 2 months already. So technically, at end of July, I would say actually by next week, if those who are keen, quickly submitting the application as soon as possible. Yeah.
Okay. အဲ့တော့မောင်လေးတို့ညီမလေးတို့ကြားတဲ့အတိုင်းပဲပေါ့29ရက်နေ့အမီ application တင်မယ်ဆိုလို့ရှိရင်တော့သူတို့ early bird discount ပေါ့နော် 10% ပေးမယ်စောစောတင်တာတော့ပိုကောင်းတာပေါ့နော်ဘာဖြစ်လို့ဆိုတော့ normally ကတော့သူတို့ process လုပ်တာတွေဘာတွေကနောက်ပြီးတော့ဒီ ICA ဘက်ကကျတော့အမားတို့ရဲ့ out of control ဖြစ်တာပေါ့နော်အဲ့လိုမျိုးဖြစ်တဲ့အခါကျတော့သူတို့ process လုပ်ပြီး ICA ကိုပြန်တင် ICA ကကြာအောင်ပါဦးအဲ့တော့စောစောတင်နိုင်ရင်ပိုကောင်းတယ်အဲဆိုတော့ဒီဘက်မှာလည်းသူတို့လူအင်အားရှိသေးတော့အနာဂတ်မှာဆိုလို့ရှိရင်နောက်ကျသွားမှာပေါ့နော် yeah so any questions
ဟုတ်အမတခုလောက်မေးလို့ရမလားရှင်
အေးမေးညီမမေးအမဘာသာပြန်ပေးမယ်ရတယ်
ဟုတ်လေ ညီမက ACCA ကိုပတ်1 FA ပြီးသွားပြီပေါ့နော်ကျန်တဲ့နှစ်ပါးတာကျန်နေ100ပေါ့နော်အဲ့ဆိုအကယ်၍ join မဲ့ဆိုလို့ရှိရင်အစနေ join တရမှာလား
Oh, she says she has already done FA. So can she continue the rest of the module, right?
FA, the financial accounting paper, is it?
Financial accounting, how do you know?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, as long as she has finished previously those whatever papers completed, take the exams, yes, she can just continue with us based on the balance papers required.
Continue လုပ်လို့ရတယ် So ညီမ result လည်းထွက်ပြီဟုတ်
ဟုတ်မှာ result လည်းထွက်ထားရှင်ဟုတ်
Oh, okay. အဲ့ဆိုအမားတို့ရဲ့လေဒီဟို July intake group တွေကိုညီမ join ထားသေးလား
join တော့မ join ထားရသေးဘူးမှာ
အဲ့ဆို join ထားလိုက်နော်အမားတို့ဒီ chat ထဲမှာလည်းထည့်ပေးထားတယ်နောက်တော့ကြာနေအမားက detail ပြောမှာပေါ့နော်အဲ့ခါကြာလို့ရှိရင်လည်းညီမတစ်ချက်လာနားထောင်လိုက်နော်
ဟုတ်ကဲ့မှာဟုတ်
Okay. So Zinwinta is asking how many subjects of exemption are we able to get from ISCA?
Okay, I think the ISCA and the ACCA are two very different qualifications. So at this point in time, we don't know if there's going to be any exemptions. Okay, so if you pursue the ACCA, okay, it's not the same as pursuing the 𝐸𝐴 qualification. Okay, a lot of the question we commonly get is if we do ACCA, is it recognized in Singapore? And the answer to that is yes. There are over 8,000 ACCA members in Singapore, and they are working in every different profession. So be it in audit firms or in corporates, private companies. Okay, so it's the ACCA qualification is still very well recognized in Singapore. Okay, it's very well recognized in Singapore. In fact, this year we are celebrating our 88th anniversary. So ACCA has been in Singapore longer than Singapore has been an independent country. Okay, so if you look at it, ACCA has been around for a long time. And is very well regarded. So in directly answering your question, we're not sure if there's going to be any exemptions with 𝐸𝐴. Okay, but for now, we'll just say that there's none. Okay, if it changes, it changes. But for now, there's going to be none. All right, and but ACCA, you can rest assured, is still very much well recognized in Singapore.
Maybe to add on to what Gavin has shared, usually when a finance professional or aspiring finance professional would like to pursue a professional qualification, you usually go for one, right? So if you have to take 2 sets of exams, it doesn't really make sense in terms of the time that you will need to take to pursue to go through 2 different set of exams and then eventually go for professional membership. So that's something that you really will need to think before you choose ACCA or choose any other professional qualifications. Which qualification will give you the most recognition globally? Right, because you are not just going to be working in Singapore, you might be working in Asia Pacific, in UK, in US. So I think that question will be something that you need to do some research, think about, right? And in terms of exemptions, Gavin is right. We don't get any exemptions from 𝐸𝐴, and similarly, 𝐸𝐴 do not get any exemptions from ACCA. So this is a mutual thing, right? We are not giving any of their students exemptions from ACCA as well. So if a student, like I think about several years back, we do get some students who have started on the Singapore Chartered Accountants qualification, so which is the one that is run by 𝐸𝐴. And maybe after a year, they decided, okay, I prefer ACCA, I want to come over, and they were coming to ACCA and asking whether we do give them exemptions, but we have checked with our, headquarters and all. So unfortunately, we do not give them any exemptions as well. Yeah, hope that answers your question, Zin.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
ညီမလေးအသေးစိတ်သိချင်တယ်တခြားဟာဆိုရင်တောက်ကြနေ join လိုက်နော်ညီမဇင်ဝင်းထိုက်
Okay, ညီမမေးချင်တာလေးရှိလို့ပါဟုတ်
အော်မေးညီမ
ဟုတ်မြန်မာမှာဆိုရင် ACC အဲ့လိုပတ်1ဆိုရင်ဘယ်နှဘာသာပတ်2ဆိုဘယ်နှဘာသာဒီမှာရောအမအဲ့လိုမျိုးကိုကြိုက်တဲ့လောက်ထိပတ်တီထိတက်လို့ရလားအမအဲ့လိုမျိုး
ရတယ်
အဲ့လိုပုံစံမျိုးလားဒါမှမဟုတ်ရင်အဲ့လို university လိုမျိုး first year second year third year အဲ့လိုပုံစံမျိုးနဲ့တော့တာလားအဲ့လိုမျိုးဖြစ်ပါ
no she's asking about ACCA how is okay for this term can she take like as much as she can or have to follow minimum paper how many paper have to be finished
Okay. To study in Kaplan per intake, which is like January intake and July intake, 6 months period, can only study 3 papers. So we only encourage 3 papers, not more, because otherwise it'll be very difficult to cope.
ညီမသူကဘယ်လိုလဲဆိုတော့ပေါ့နော်သူက6လကိုတစ်ချိန်ပေါ့6လတစ်ချိန်မှာဆိုရင်ညီမ3ဘာသာသူတို့ကတော့ encourage လုပ်တာတော့3ဘာသာပေါ့နော်ဘာလို့ဆိုတော့အရင်အများကြီးလည်းညီမမနိုင်ပါဆိုတော့3ဘာသာနောက်6လမှာအဲ့ဒါအောက်ရင်နောက်ထပ်3ဘာသာတကယ်လို့ကြားခဲ့ရင်ကြားတဲ့ဘာသာပြန်ဖြေပေါ့နော်အဲ့လိုနီးနဲ့သွားတာဟို university နဲ့မတူတဲ့အချက်က university ကျ academic ကကျတော့သူတို့သတ်မှတ်ထားတဲ့ဥစ္စာကိုဒီ module ကိုဒီ intake မှာသင်မယ်ဆိုရင်ဒီ module ကိုယူရတယ် ACC မှာpart 2ဆိုညီမကြိုက်တဲ့ဘာသာတွေယူလို့ရတယ်အမပြောတဲ့သဘောပေါက်လား
ဟုတ်ကဲ့ဟုတ်ဟိုလေညီမက LCCI level 2 UK ရောဖြည့်ပြီးပြီပေါ့နော်အခုညီမကACC ကို LCCI level 3 မပြီးလိုက်တာဖြစ်တဲ့အတွက်ညီမ ACC level 3ကိုလည်းအခုတက်ပြီးပြီပေါ့နော် course တွေပြီးသွားပြီပေါ့ဒါပေမဲ့ဆောင်းမဖြည့်ဘဲနဲ့ ACC ပတ်1ကို join ဖို့အခုပြင်နေရပေါ့နော်အဲ့ဒါနဲ့ဒီမှာတက်မယ်ဆိုလို့ရှိရင်ပေါ့နော်မအဲ့လိုစင်ကာပူမှာသွားတက်ရမှာလားမဒါမှမဟုတ် online နဲ့ရောတက်လို့ရလားပြီးခါကျရင်paper ဘယ်လောက်ထိပြီးပြီဆိုလို့ရှိရင်အလုပ်ဝင်ဖို့အခွင့်အရေးမျိုးရနိုင်လဲ opportunity လေးအဲ့လိုမျိုးလေးပေါ့သိချင်ပါတယ်ပါ
ဟုတ်ပြီဆိုတော့ညီမသိချင်တာကကြတော့ဒီအခုလက်ရှိပေါ့ညီမကဟိုစင်ကာပူမှာတက်မယ်တကယ်လို့ ACC ကိုတက်မယ်ဆိုလို့ရှိရင်စင်ကာပူမှာပဲလာတက်ရမလား online တက်ရမလားသိချင်တာမလားပြီးအလုပ်အခွင့်အရေး she's asking about she wants to know whether she can study online or fully on campus and any other job opportunities after ACCA let's say after part 1 after part 2 what kind of position can she work in Singapore
Okay, our course for full-time students have to be in campus. So it's all face-to-face in classroom. The course is blended, so it comes with access to an online learning portal called 𝐀𝐂𝐂𝐂𝐀. So all the online study materials will be in this portal. So it's a mix, but there's no pure online class. So this one, we can't do that. And also because just I mentioned already, for all student pass holder students, they got to be in campus Monday to Friday, 3 hours within 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. So that's the requirement. As for what kind of jobs, okay, while you're holding a student pass, you must finish your course first before you can apply for any job. So it doesn't work whereby you study one level, you find a job and then continue part 2 and part 3 and so on. So you must complete your studies to the best you can. Of course, along the way, if you completed, say, for example, around we call it partial ECC, I believe finished applied skills level. So all in all, you have completed about 9 modules already. There are some Singapore's, Sylvia and Gabby, correct me if I'm wrong. There's some Singapore's companies in Singapore do accept partial ACC qualification staff. So of course, to achieve the full qualification will be better. But even with partial, I believe some companies still does accept. But of course, the position won't be very high. It could be a junior accountant, etc. Yeah, maybe Gavin and Sylvia would like to add on to that question on the career.
Yep, correct. So our students, so in Singapore, generally, we have a lot of our students who are part-time students. So they actually work a full-time job already in accounting or finance, and then they are pursuing ACCA because their employers, prefers that they have the ACCA qualification. So it actually helps them with their career progression. Yeah, so Laurel is correct. You don't need to complete your ACCA before you can start looking for jobs. And as Gavin shared earlier, in terms of the practical experience requirement, this is an important requirement where you need to clock 36 months of relevant working experience in order to apply for full ACCA membership, right? So this working experience, you can do it before you start your ACC exams, while you are still completing your ACC exams, or even after. Yeah.
အဲ့တော့ညီမလေးတို့အဓိကကတော့ဗာလဲဆိုတော့ပေါ့နော်ဟို ACC ကအတိအမှတ်ပြုတယ်စင်ကာပူမှာ ACC qualify ကျောင်းမပြီးသေးဘူးဆိုရင်တော့သူတို့ပြောတယ်လို့ junior လောက်တော့ရမှာပေါ့နော်ဒါကိုရှောက်ရင်ရှောက်တယ်လို့နောက်တစ်ချက်ကဗာလဲဆိုစင်ကာပူမှာက quota ဆို SPAS quota တခုဖြစ်ဖို့ဆိုရင် working experience ရှိရမယ်ညီမတို့ရဲ့ဒီ qualification ပေါ့ background qualification အဲ့ဒါတွေကိုပေါင်းပြီးမှသူတို့ကနေပြီးတော့ဒီ SPAS ချပေးမချပေးဆိုတော့ဆုံးဖြတ်တာဖြစ်တဲ့အတွက်ကြောင့် more ဘယ်လိုပြောမလဲဆိုတော့ညီမတို့ပို့ပြီးတော့ ACC ဘာသာရပ်တွေပို့ပြီးထားရဆိုရင်တော့ပိုကောင်းတာပေါ့နော်အဲ့လိုမျိုးပြောချင်တာနောက်တစ်ခုကျတော့ဒီ ACC ကကျတော့စင်ကာပူမှာပဲ full time student အနေနဲ့လာတက်ရတာဖြစ်တဲ့အတွက်ကြောင့်ညီမတို့က on campus မှာလည်းရှိရမယ်တစ်ခါတလေကျရင်လည်း online နဲ့သင်ရတာလည်းရှိမယ်ပေါ့နော် blended learning လိုမျိုးတို့ကသွားတာအဲ့လိုမျိုးနော်ညီမ Okay there are a few questions meeting chat where should we start I think start from Rio
Yes. So with regards to Rio's question, what universities can I apply for BSc? Okay, except OBU. OBU will stop the program in 2026.
Yeah, 2000.
Yep. Okay, so right now, the OBU officially is going to start in 2026, but there are discussions in ACCA for other options. Okay, now if a student wants to look at other BSc options, there are certain limitations, okay, because of the prerequisite subjects that are required. Okay, so in most if the OBU doesn't happen and no other agreements exist, okay, the easiest is for students to actually to finish the ACCA qualification first and then pursue a master's. Okay, why I say that is because at the master's level, there are a lot more opportunities. So there are MBAs, there are Masters of Professional Accounting degrees that students can take. So the opportunities at a postgraduate level is better. Okay, now why does ACCA not allow students, the qualification does not allow students to go into other degrees? Okay, it's because a lot of degrees, I mean, if I'm looking at Australia alone, you need to have completed subjects in marketing, okay, organizational behavior, right? So in that sense, because the ACCA qualification does not have those subjects, okay, there are limitations to how much exemptions you can get. OBU is a very special product that has been developed to support it. Okay, but yeah, once that stops, the options are limited. However, with that said, okay, this is something we're actively looking at, and we do have a lot of students who are asking for it. So rest assured that there should be an option by then. Okay, but for now, the best choice is always the postgraduate option. So complete your ACCA qualification in as short a period of time as you can, and then if possible, then you move on to do it as a master's level. Okay.
ဆိုတော့အဓိကကတော့ညီမလေးတို့ပေါ့နော် ACC ကတော့professional ဆိုပေမဲ့သူကတကယ်ကိုACC qualify ဖြစ်တယ်ဆိုလို့ရှိရင်အလောက်ကတန်းဝင်လို့ရတယ်ဆိုတော့သူပြောချင်တာက bachelor တီးတန့်ယူနေစရာတော့မလိုဘူးပေါ့နော်master တန်း join လို့ရတယ်တကယ်လို့ပေါ့နော် bachelor လိုချင်နေဆိုရင်လည်းပဲ private တခြားကျောင်းတွေအများကြီးရှိတယ် exemption နဲ့ဒီ credit exemption တွေလည်းယူလို့ရတယ်ဒါကတော့ကိုယ့်သဘောပေါ့နော်အဲ့ခါကျရင်တော့ကိုကပြန် find out လုပ်ရမှာပေါ့နော်ဘယ် university က ACC qualification ကို accept ဖြစ်လဲဆိုတာပေါ့နော်အဲ့မှာ credit exemption ကွာသွားမှာပေါ့နော်အဲ့လိုနည်းနဲ့ပြန်သွားမှာ okay so next Sudarshan how long will it take for the people who's done part 1 to keep going for bachelor degree and how much charge for that so
I
the
can
next questions
give it a start first to Sue's question. So
okay
actually how long it takes will depend on your commitment, Sue. So if you are dedicating more time, if you're doing it full time, then of course you will be able to load more exams and complete faster. And so for instance, some students we have also ACCA students who are doing a university degree and at the same time clearing ACCA exams. So of course, if they are trying to do 2 qualifications, it will also take longer. So I would say if you have completed part 1, I assume that's the first 3 exams. You have only 10 more exams to go. And if you study with Kaplan, right, they have a structured program to bring you through and progress faster. So I think being committed and doing it full time will definitely help you finish faster. So like I think Laurel, you were saying maybe each for full-time students on student pass, if you need to complete 3 exams during half a year, right? So that means within a year you will be able to complete 6. So 1.5 to 2 years would be a comfortable time for you to complete all the 10 exams. In terms of the charges,
yes.
maybe I'll leave it to Laurel and
Yeah.
Sarah.
I think I
I do.
already shared the Kaplan.
The slide deck, yeah, the fees are all inside.
Yes. So do
I-
Kaplan Health Career Fair.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
sorry,
we
sorry, Laura. Maybe
Okay.
back to the last question. In terms of cost, right? I think if you really do a comparison between the various professional qualifications, you will realize that ACCA is actually the most affordable option. Yeah, the key, one of the key reasons to support that will be that in terms of our student numbers, it's definitely one of the biggest globally. So when ACCA run exams, if you just compare the exam fee that ACCA charges versus other professional bodies, right, you will see and realize that ACCA exam fees will be the lowest that you'll be paying. So definitely cost wise, and of course to prepare for exams, you want to pass faster, you want better exam success, then it's good that you study with Kaplan, right? So all in, I think the faster you pass, the less money you will spend. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Thanks.
True.
Back to Laurel.
Sure. So on the question regarding Kaplan, whether Kaplan will hold career fair for student. Okay. Sorry, we don't hold career fair for student, but we do have a department called the Employability Services Affairs Department that has a lot of student clubs, conduct a lot of workshops that can actually help students to improve on their like interviewing skills, resume writing skills. And in fact, those seminars and workshops and events may include certain companies. So in that aspect, there will be some exposure. So that will help. So if you join Kaplan, right, you will definitely be able to join all these clubs. Then you get to enjoy all these perks. And maybe, who knows, it might actually link you up with certain companies. Then if, after your course of study, you can actually work with them. But in terms of career fair itself, no, we don't hold that.
I think just adding to that, ACCA, we do have a career portal as well. So I think very much once you start completing all the papers and you are at that level where you need the experience and you need to look for a job, ACCA Career Hub is also an opportunity. It's also a platform that you can use to find jobs. So we do have posts from a lot of the big companies who are looking for auditors, who are looking for different kind of accountants. Okay, some entry level ones and some even high level ones. So it's a good platform for you to have a look. I think just take note. I mean, it's always good to apply early. Okay, so even as you are still studying for your exams, right? If you have maybe 6 months left to your studies to go, okay, it's good to start applying early, okay, at least 6 months prior to finishing your qualification for jobs. Okay, why this is the case is because looking for jobs in Singapore and getting a pass to stay in Singapore takes time, right? If you give yourself 1 month, so a lot of students, what they do is they are about to graduate, then they start applying for jobs, and by the time they finish their studies and start applying for jobs, there's only maybe 1 month left in their student pass. So if they're going to give themselves only 1 month, companies are not going to be able to hire them and get the pass on time. right? So give student, I always tell my students, if you're doing to do this, do it at least 6 months before you finish your paper. Not before you graduate, but 6 months before you finish your paper, so that it gives them enough time to interview you, to make sure you're the right candidate, and to apply for all the necessary student passes. No, work passes, sorry.
အနည်းဆုံးတော့6လလောက်တော့အချိန်ယူရတာပေါ့နော်ကိုယ် CV တွေတေချာပြင်ထားမယ် interview တွေသွားထားမယ်ကြောင်းပြီးမှကိုက interview တွေသွားတာထက်ဆိုင်ကြိုပြင်ထားတာပိုကောင်းတယ်ပေါ့နော်သူပြောချင်တာတော့လေ so next I would like to know about the way to go for the student who have completed 3 subjects oh just now Xavier to already mentioned ညီမလေးအဓိကကတော့လေဟိုညီမလေးကဒီ3ဘာသာပြီးဖို့ဆိုရင်အဓိကကတော့ဒီကို6လဆိုရင်6လ3ဘာသာယူထားရင်တည်တည်ချာချာလေးလုပ်မယ်ဆိုရင်ပေါ့နော်သူတို့ဒီ portal မှာလည်းသူတို့ဒီဟိုပေါ့ revision kit တို့ဘာလို့အဲ့လိုထားပေးထားတာရှိတယ်အဲ့ဒါတွေကိုလေ့ကျင့်မယ်ဆိုရင်တော့အဆင်ပြေပါတယ်ဒါကတော့ individual နဲ့ပဲဆိုင်တာပေါ့နော် okay next win
Yeah, so I replied that already. Yeah, in order to take advantage of the MSc option, you need to have completed all 3 parts.
Yes.
Okay. Because that is a master's level qualification.
Yeah.
Right. So that's a bit more. So they need you to have finished the qualification. Yeah.
So,
any other questions?
ဆိုတော့ခုနရှင်းပြသလိုပဲပေါ့နော် ECC ကကျတော့ globally recognized ဖြစ်တယ်ဒီ reasonable price ဖြစ်တယ်ဆိုတော့တခြားကိုက bachelor program တွေမှာအရန်ကိုinstitute တွေဒီမှာအခုဆိုကျောင်းတွေအရန်ပေါ်လာတယ်ဈေးတွေကလည်းမပေါ်ဘူးပေါ့နော်ဆိုတော့ဒီပုံမှာ ECC လုံးမျိုးတကယ်ကို qualification ဖြစ်ရှိတဲ့တကယ်ကိုနိုင်ငံတကာအသိမှတ်ပြုတဲ့ဟာကိုကိုက6လတစ်ချိန်3ဘာသာအနည်းဆုံးသွင်းပြီးတော့ကိုကတက်သွားမယ်ဆိုရင်ကို့အနေနဲ့လည်းအရန် heavy မဖြစ်ဘူး qualify ဖြစ်တဲ့ education လည်းရမယ်အလုပ်ကန်ရလည်းခုနသူတို့ရှင်းပြသွားသလိုပဲ company တိုင်းမှာ organization တိုင်းမှာ accountant လိုတဲ့အတွက်ကြောင့်မို့လို့ဒီ ACC ကိုကpart 1ပြီးသည်ဖြစ်စေ part 2ပြီးသည်ဖြစ်စေပေါ့နော်ကိုပြီးတဲ့အလိုက်ကို position ကတော့ကိုက apply လုပ်လို့ရတယ်ဒီမှာ S pass လို့ work permit တို့ကတော့ကိုယ့်ရဲ့ qualification ပေါ်မူတည်ရပေါ့နော်များသောအားဖြင့်ကတော့ ACC qualification နဲ့ဆိုရင် S pass ကိုရတာများတယ်ပေါ့နော်ဆိုတော့တခြားပါမေးစရာရှိသေးလေနောက်ပြီးတော့အမကဒီလာမဲ့နောက်ကြနေမှာလေအမကဒီ July intake Kaplan မှာတက်မဲ့ကျောင်းသားတွေအားလုံးအတွက်ကိုအသေးစိတ်လိုအပ်တဲ့ဟာတွေကိုအမကရှင်းပြမှာဖြစ်တယ်ပေါ့နော်ဆိုတော့ join ချင်တဲ့ညီမလေးတွေရှိရင်လေဒီနေ့လိုအချိန်မှာပဲဒီ Zoom link ကနေပြီးတော့ join လို့ရတယ်နောက်အမတို့ဒီ chat box မှာလည်းအသေးစိတ်ပေါ့နော်ဒီအမတို့ရဲ့ WhatsApp group link ရှိတယ်အဲ့ link လေးကိုလည်း join ပေးထားလို့ရတယ်ACC ဒီ July intake တက်မဲ့ကျောင်းသားတွေအမတို့စုထားတာပေါ့နော်နောက်တခြားပါမေးစရာရှိသေးလဲမေးပါ
Hello ပါခုလာမေးစရာဟို expert ဆိုတာလေးမှာညီမမသိလို့ဟို visa ကိုပြောဘယ်လိုပြောရလဲ
okay meaning နှစ်ခုရှိတယ် S pass မှာဆိုရင် special pass ဆိုတာ work permit လို့မျိုးဟာမျိုးပေါ့နော် another S pass ကကျတော့ student pass ပေါ့ you should call student pass not S pass you know student pass လို့ခေါ်တယ်ဆိုတော့တော်တော်များများအဲ့နှစ်ခုကိုမကွဲဘူး S pass ဆိုရင် student pass လို့ခေါ်ကြတယ်မဟုတ်ဘူး S pass ကကျတော့ဒီမှာအလုပ်special pass လို့ခေါ်တာပေါ့နော်ဆိုတော့ဒီအလုပ်ကိုရှောက်မယ်ဆိုရင် work permit ရှိ special pass ရှိတယ် EP employment pass အဲ့လို pass အမျိုးသားတွေရှိတယ်အဲ့လိုခေါ်တာstudent pass ကကျတော့ student pass လို့ပဲခေါ်တာညီမ
ဟုတ်ကဲ့ကျေးဇူးပါဟုတ်
ရတယ်ညီမ any other questions မေးပါညီမ
ဟုတ်ဟိုလေ full time တက်မှာဆိုတဲ့အခါကျတော့လေမဟို part time job တွေပါလုပ်ခွင့်မရှိဘူးလားမ
တဘောကတော့ညီမသူတို့ရှိတော့အမကပြောလို့တိတ်မကောင်းပေါ့တရားဝင်တော့လုပ်ခွင့်မရှိဘူးပေါ့
ဟုတ်ကဲ့ပြီးတော့အမဟို fees အသေးစိတ်ကလေးရော payment plan လို့ပါတော့
အဲ့ဒါလေးအမဆွေးနွေးပေးမယ်တောက်ကြနေလာ join လိုက်ဒါမှမဟုတ်အမလေးဒီမှာ link ပေးထားတယ်အမရဲ့ group ထဲကို join ထားလိုက် တက်ဖို့တည်ကြတယ်ဆိုရင်တောက်ကြလဲလာ join လိုက်
ဟုတ်ဟိုအိမ်ထဲတော့ပြန်တိုင်မိလာအောင်မအိမ်ကတည်ချင်တဲ့ check ကလေး information တွေကောက်ပြီးတောက်ကြနေတဲ့ချက်ပြန်ပြီးတော့တက်လိုက်
ပြန် join လိုက်နော် okay so you all can join on Friday for more details about student pass and application process yeah ညီမမေပါ
ဟုတ်လေအမပြောတော့တဲ့အထဲမှာလေဟိုကိုယ့် skill ပေါ်မူတည်ပြီးဒီ work pass ကကွာသွားမယ်ဆိုတာလေအမဒီဖလာကျတော့ဒီစင်ဟိုမှာကျတော့လေoffice နဲ့ပတ်သက်တဲ့အလုပ်အားလုံးကြီးပါလေအနည်းဆုံး S-pass ပဲသူကကျတော့ eligible ဖြစ်တာဆိုတော့လေ work permit ကျတော့ခွင့်မပြုထားအောင်လားအမ
work permit ကတော့ရှိတယ်ဒါပေမဲ့ work permit ကပြောရရင်တော့အောက်ခြေသိမ်းပေါ့နော်အမကတော့အာမပေးဘူးတချို့က quota မရှိရင် S-pass က quota ရှိရတယ်ကုမ္ပဏီမှာအဲ့တော့ quota မရှိရင် work permit ပဲရှောက်ပေးခွင့်ရှိတယ်ညီမ
ဟုတ်တယ်ဒါပေမဲ့သူက account တက်အနေနဲ့ဆိုရင်တော့ work permit က
တချို့ work permit နဲ့တချို့ work permit နဲ့ရှောက်တယ်တဘောကဟို accountant ဆိုပေမဲ့လည်း position ကိုတခြားဟာထားလိုက်တယ်အမပြောသိလား
ဟုတ်သိရမှာဒါပေမဲ့အဲ့တော့ချင်းမှာ aspect ပြန်ပြောင်းချင်ရင်အဲ့ဒီဟာကအခက်အခဲရှိမှာပေါ့
ခက်တာပေါ့ဟုတ်တယ်ဟုတ်တယ် Any other questions
So there's a question in the chat regarding how many months do I have do I have to experience a job with CCA Part 1? So the answer to the question I think is ACCA work experience is not required as part of the exams. Okay, you don't need to have work experience to do the exams. So you can do the exams just by studying for the exams. But in order to become an ACCA member, you need to have 3 years